Welcome to the Ministry League Live. This is our 1-year anniversary show. We are excited to have you here with us. We have been working on some things for quite some time. We've been going on the Ministry League, for 1 solid year, and we're excited to present to you a lot of new things, and a lot of great people that have come together to put together what we consider the Ministry League, our website, our app, and now something we're really excited to talk about is the event at the close of our show today. I have a lot of guests, a lot of people coming in. John is in Colorado Springs, Colorado, for the Denver Convention for Lads to Leaders, which reminds me, let's pay some bills here. We have some sponsors we want to thank for being a part of what we do. And the Lads Leaders program is a part of that. The LJ Church of Christ in LJ, Georgia is also a supporter of ours. The Palisades Church of Christ and now the Piedmont Road Church of Christ in Marietta, Georgia. We are excited to be with you today. A lot of great things that we want to talk to you about and sort of give you sort of a platform, a foundation for what's going on. And as I said before, a lot of changes. About 10 years ago, we started an event, a program on a website entitled AIM, Adventures in Ministry, with a few guys, and we decided we need more people. We need more Christians. We need people that are working in ministry and helping and encouraging and bringing everybody together. And so we created the Ministry League 1 year ago today. And as I said before, a lot of folks are involved in this, and it breaks down to a few areas of ministry that we want to mention to you. The first part of it is the connections ministry, as far as the on Facebook Live and on Facebook, where we have connections groups to talk about to church members and church leaders about what's going on in their congregation, their local congregation. Also, we have one for our ladies, the ladies group, that they talk and have connections there. And then, of course, the youth ministry part, where youth ministers discuss and talk about things going on in their world. So connections is a big deal. Our network is a big deal. I do want to mention Colin Little, who is the director of our connections group, so I'll make sure I mention him there, and also the director of our network for Ministry League is Caleb Sampson, and he will, in a little while, he'll be introducing those folks, and really appreciate the good work he does, and all the people that are a part of that have been a part of it over this past year. We even have some folks that are about to join up and be a part of it coming in this next week, this next month, so we're excited about that. We also are going to talk about the Ministry League events. Under the umbrella of the events, we have 3 big things that we do here with Ministry League that we want you to be a part of. The first one is a big deal we do in December 27th through 30, and that is Exposure Youth Camp. We love that event. It's been going on for about 23 years now, and a lot of the folks you'll see today are a part of that. And it's a special, unique program, and that's something that falls under the umbrella of the Ministry League. We also do Into Global Ministries, which is an opportunity where Exposure and another program we have that work together to be able to have mission work, not just domestically, but also in foreign fields. And so we had that Exposure Youth Camp in London a couple of years ago. Pandemic happened. We weren't able to go last summer or this, but we are ready for 2022. A lot of great things happening right there. And another thing, as far as the events, is something new we're all doing together and excited about that. It's going to be happening next May on our 2-year anniversary, the kickoff for that great event. We'll talk about that a little later in our show. And then, of course, there's the resources. We have Jonathan Germany, the youth minister at the Ninth Avenue Church of Christ in Haleyville, Alabama, who is the director of our resources. A lot of great things that go with that, with people that submit information like you, class materials and things like that. And then also we have those offered for you to be able to use for free. Pretty awesome. Some really great things. So that's great. We also have with us today, we're going to introduce some people that do special things as far as the Ministry League is concerned, and we're going to bring them in just a little while. But before we do, let me go ahead and bring in my friend, my producer of this show and most of our shows, and the producer of the John and Paul show as well, Caleb Sampson. Caleb is the youth and family minister at the Ellijay Church of Christ there in North Georgia. And we are excited to have him here. Appreciate him and his talents and his ability to connect with people and help to bring that great network we have, which is a part of what we do at Ministry League, but it's a big part. And so really excited about this and excited about what's going on. Caleb, how are things going over across the state line?
They are doing excellent. Can't wait for you to get on this side of the state line. And everything is going good. Very busy, but excited to have a 1-year anniversary for Ministry League. And man, what a year it's been.
It's been packed. A lot has gone on. A lot of phone calls have been made. A lot of podcasts have been produced. A lot of talents that we have that are with us today, but also may not be with us, but a lot of folks that are a part of what we do. Just to let everybody know, our website, let's go ahead and do this. The website is ministryleague.com, or you can go to theministryleague.com and go to Ministry League. There's an About Us page, and you'll see the faces. You'll match the faces, all of the faces, to the people, to the stuff we have. We'll be adding more things to that as the week goes on because, as you know, Caleb, as you're going to introduce here, we got more stuff, some new stuff going on too.
We've got lots of stuff. And many more things in the works as well. Some of them we can't share yet, but it's the last year has been a challenge for people in general. But as far as launching or rebranding Adventures in Ministry League and turning it into Ministry League and getting people interested in digital content, it's been a good year for that. And so it's been a positive that's come out of that. A lot of people have tuned in and watched the various podcasts thousands and thousands of times, which is awesome. And so we're very thankful for folks being willing to do that. You want me to run through the list of the podcasts right now?
Yeah, we will. I'd like to do that. Before we do that, though, if you don't mind, let's talk a little bit about the business side of this. Then we'll get to the podcast, because the podcast is a big deal, and we do appreciate you. You are being the director of the network and doing a great job with that. We don't want to do that. But first, I'd like to tell folks a little bit about the business side of the Ministry League, that we're not just a couple of guys that started a website and said, let's go. This is a legit business. This is a legit business. We are incorporated and more. And there's a lot of things that go along with that. And I think to do that, let's bring in our treasurer and member of our leadership team, and our financial advisor on things like that, and our trip coordinator. She's our travel agent, Gail Williams, one of the faithful members there at the Palisades Church, a dear friend of ours. Gail, talk to us a little bit about Ministry League, what we've done with it, what our dream was for it, and things have come true. And
I hope that y'all can.
Go, Gail.
Uh-oh.
I can't hear Paul, so.
Okay.
Okay. So a couple of the goals that we had this past year, once we launched the Ministry League, we wanted to become incorporated, and we worked on that process. And as of October the 1st, we are incorporated in the state of Alabama. Once we received incorporation, became a corporation, we then applied for a 501(c)(3). And we found out a couple of weeks ago that retroactive to October the 1st, we are now granted tax exempt status. And what that means for all of us is that we can now accept donations. Checks can be made out to any of the things that Ministry League is a part of, or is a part of Ministry League. Checks would just be made out to Ministry League, and you can say in the comment section what you would like for it to go to, whether it's for Exposure Youth Camp or our program that is Into Global, or just generally to the Ministry League. In talking about Into Global, this is our mission work that we have going out not only within the United States, but as well as around the country. Back in 2019, the first EYC London was launched with John and Paul. We had plans to do that last year, but of course the pandemic hit, and that has kind of took away our plans from last year and again for this year. But our goals in the future, and we hope next year in August of 2022, that we will be able to go back to London and Scotland, and then there are future plans to visit other spots in Europe and Taiwan and Singapore. So we're real excited about that. And it's an opportunity for so many of us to be involved in mission work globally. One of the other things that we have going on the administrative side is our merchandise shop. We're in the works of setting that up, but things that will be offered are the t-shirts that we have that we are now wearing, and our Ministry League mug, which we had available at Exposure Youth Camp. And again, I am just so honored to be a part of this Ministry League and just so excited about the things that we have that are going on now and what the future will bring.
Ms. Gail, we want to thank you for being a part of this with us, and I hope that you hear what I'm saying when I say we couldn't do it without you. Everybody's got an integral part of what we do, and it really, truly does mean a lot to us for you being a part of it, and thank you so much. She can hear me. But she'll hear it. She'll watch it later. Thanks, Ms. Gail. Really appreciate you. The next part of this, Caleb, is your area. No one knows it better than you. And so you've done a great job of putting together a good team of people. The one thing I think is interesting about this, and the one thing that I think helped get people through pandemic, was podcasting. And you made a really great point earlier in talking about the fact that it was the perfect time to create or rebrand, to give us the Ministry League, because it was the absolute perfect time to do something, because you couldn't go anywhere. So you might as well watch things and listen to things and build on those things and those relationships. And so it went great. And every turn we have an opportunity to bring somebody else in and to add to the channels, I guess you could say, and a part of the network. It's pristine. I'm impressed with it. And there's not a lot like it, to be honest. But I'll quit ragging on you and then let you have this now.
All right. It's been my pleasure to be a part of it, and I'm very thankful that I can be able to interact, I guess I would say, with some of these folks, and it's been an awesome experience to try to handle some of these things and bring new folks on and be always looking for new talent. So anybody out there that's watching or listening, if you have something that you want to share with us and that you might be interested in a project in doing, we're always looking for new ideas and also resources. So and Jonathan Germany, hopefully we'll be able to talk to that maybe a little bit later on the resources side. But for the podcasts, I want to share with you a couple different things about each one, just briefly as we go through this. And I'm going to try to see if I can bring it up. Let's see here. That's the video. I don't need video. It's always a work in progress when you're trying to do this on the fly. For the ministry, we have a lot of different things and a lot of different people that are involved in helping to make this a reality. And I've got Tyler's part up there. We'll let him go through that in just a few minutes. Let's see. Let me skip through. We've got a couple comments too, folks that have been commenting along the Homemade podcast, which will be joining us very soon, and we'll be having them doing stuff they'll be releasing each Tuesday. I see Tyler posted on there. We love all the work of Ministry League. Excited for the days ahead. And then a thank you from John Painter for all the work that we've done over the last year, and appreciate him as one of my wonderful elders here at LJ. So on the podcast side, we have been richly blessed by a number of different podcasts. And the first one that we want to highlight is the Bearing Up podcast. And we have with us, I believe, well, I guess Zach isn't with us here now, but he was a few minutes ago. Bearing Up is Zach Griffin and Logan Bruce, and they do a podcast each week. And on Thursdays is when they release their new content. And it's a really good dialogue between them as they discuss various deeper biblical topics. And so we appreciate all the stuff that they're doing. And they've got a lot of different merchandise and various things that they've put together. Some pretty neat stuff. And they're also using Patreon. So if you want to check them out, go over to all their social media channels, or you can look it up on the Ministry League channel on Facebook and on YouTube and be able to see some of those as well. The next podcast, and these are, I tried to throw them in alphabetical order, but somehow PD and Pals made it into a random spot here. Paul, if you want to come on just for a minute here and talk about PD and Pals and tell us a little bit about that particular podcast. It's new to Ministry League, but if you want to share some information.
Yeah, basically, PD and Pals is a group of puppets that are founded at the Kermit's their buddy, that have founded itself at Piedmont Road Church there in Marietta. Jake Sutton sort of taking the charge of that. Not sort of, he is. He and members of the church there are doing that. They've written books for children. That PD Bible stories that he talks about and communicates on a age 7 level. And so it's really neat how it works out. Their newest book coming out actually this month. Now we're in May. Yes. In May is a book about patience, which is an autistic child, or a Muppet puppet that helps out and talks about what it means to be on the spectrum for autism, as we call them, autastic kids. And so we're also starting a ministry for children on the spectrum for autism and special needs. And so doing a lot of really neat things there, sensory rooms and such, and ways to teach and connect in that way, and not just in the church, but in our community, and not just in the state of Georgia, but everywhere. And so we're really excited about that. It's a Kind Ministry is the name of it, Kids in Need. And so this is the springboard for that. We are going to start a podcast. We'll be on our network here. There are 6 individuals. There are 3 sets of parents who have children on the spectrum. We'll not just be talking about the challenges of a child on the spectrum, but how parents can overcome and meet those challenges. And so we are really excited about that. And that was one of the big draws for us in going there. And so it's exciting, and we're ready to get that started, and they've already got it in motion. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. Next up on our list is the Bible Conversations podcast. It is produced out of Texas, and we have several different guys that are involved in that. We have Dan, Chris, and then they bring in several different guests. They actually hit a milestone here recently with the number of downloads and listens. And so they're doing really well. And we really appreciate all the work that they're doing. And they couldn't be with us today, but they really appreciate being on Ministry League, and wanted to pass on it's been a year for them as well that they started their podcast. So we're glad to have them with us, and all the good work that they're doing, milestones that they've been hitting. So we're really glad for that one. The next one that we've got is Crossways, and I don't believe Jonathan was able to make it in here with us today, but Jonathan Germany, who helped begin that podcast, and then he also has Joshua Fowler that's in there with him, and they come out every Thursday with new content and discuss the way of the cross, and we always appreciate all the stuff that they do. Jonathan is also our resources director for Ministry League, and has put in countless hours to try to get a lot of really good free resources out to the church. And like I said at the beginning, if you have some free resources that you would like to share with folks, feel free to pass those along to us, and we'll try to get it to a bigger audience and help the church in that way as well. So again, that's the Crossways podcast. Then we have the Edify podcast. We hope that Jake Sutton might be with us. But it is a podcast designed for elders and ministers, and he highlights some different speakers at times. Sometimes it's him talking about the challenges of ministry, and a really good podcast. We'd love for you to subscribe to that one as well. And then we have Every Monday Matters that Wes Ayers does. That comes out every Monday morning, and talks about the challenges of facing Mondays with a positive attitude and getting to work with the right mindset. Then we have Keeping Up with the Joneses, the Lonnie Jones podcast adventure. And Lonnie is always got a unique perspective on everything, and some unusual situations that he gets himself into that he highlights through these different podcasts. And they has a very large audience as well. So check that out if you get a chance. The next one is the Helping Healing Humor podcast. And I'm going to try to bring in Travis to the stream here. And Travis, tell us a little bit about the Helping Healing Humor podcast.
Well, first of all, guys, happy birthday or anniversary or whatever you're calling it. It's awesome. Good stuff. You guys challenged us, inspired us, helped us to kind of get busy and moving. And, we created benandtravis.com. But our podcast is, as you stated, pretty straightforward there. And we talk about people and share stories of people who have overcome great trials in their life. And our kind of catchphrase is we kind of highlight where God shows up and shows out through different deals and things and tribulations and some stuff too. But, and so we're always looking for guests, anybody that you may know at your church. Obviously, we've got a ton of resources here at the Ministry League, folks we haven't even tapped into being on our show, but we'd love to have those. If you know of somebody in your congregation that has a great story to share of God showing up and showing out through adversity, we'd love to have them on the show. So we've had everybody from, major leaguers to authors to whoever, and obviously we're on there, so the bar is not too high. So
I don't know if you saw that comment there, Travis, but Ray Reynolds says Travis Creasy is my spirit animal. So
I'll take it. I'll take it.
What plans do you guys have for the future this next year?
Well, we put out an email every Tuesday, and that has our podcast and audio format. We also post every Tuesday at noon a video edition of the podcast. But as Paul can attest to, last year on June 1st, we started the 30-day Batify Challenge. And I benefited tremendously from that. We've got a lot of people who've shared their stories and how that's impacted them. And we're just blown away by that, because we literally had a podcast, Ask Lonnie Jones Anything. And he was like, if you're not going to do it at your house, you're not going to do it at the gym. So we were like, well, let's do this thing. And that birthed the Batify Freedom 5K, which we will host in the Shoals area on July the 10th. You can also do it in your neighborhood. I think Will Hester actually did the 5K, walked the 5K, pushing his child in a stroller and preaching the gospel live on Facebook. So you can do it that way. Also, along with that, we've got the Batify Youth Group Challenge, once again, born out of this pandemic. It's a challenge that lasts from July the 4th to August 1st. And every youth group member that participates, it's the average the team has per person. Whoever has the most miles per average of the person in the group will win a custom championship wrestling belt that we, if allowed and possible, we will hand deliver to your church, or at least present via Zoom, depending on what the rules of your town or your area is. And so we've got a lot of those things going on, and we're really excited about those. Early bird registration for those events ends on May the 4th. Be with you. So this Tuesday, the registration will continue to be open, but it'll be a little bit more expensive. So check it out, benandtravis.com. You can get all of our stuff there.
Awesome. And of course, your illustrious co-host couldn't be with us today, but
well, Well, when you make the big bucks, you got other things to do than hang out with me, so.
Yeah. I'm thinking that maybe you guys need to start doing some more sports future, telling the future, since you did so well in the final four.
Yeah, well, we also have our Sons of Blunder episodes where we either share ministry fails or we talk about sports, so that you get the point that we have no idea what we're talking about. So you don't need to do any kind of putting money or anything on anything we say according to sports. You should just show up and laugh at us. We did do the Super Bowl broadcast this year, where we had the wheel of will that we spun every time a certain circumstance happened. And I think Ben ate 2 pounds of Reese cups, and I ran a mile or 2 and then did a bunch of push-ups and sit-ups. So if you don't enjoy the other stuff, you can always check out our sports broadcasts and laugh at us as we make fools of ourselves, which we're pros at. We've got a lot of practice.
Well, one of the things that I think is special about what you and Ben do is that you show that it's fun to be Christians. And a lot of people out there think that, Christianity is just this real rigid, it's no fun at all. And yet, it's a blast to have fellow Christians and brothers and sisters in Christ, and to be able to cut up and have a good time and in clean humor. And a lot of folks are just missing out.
And that's the thing at the end of the podcast. I know that it's easy you look at the tribulation, the trial, the things that you go through, but we always end every podcast with some random goofy question, and it's pretty cool to hear these folks give these kind of gut wrenching stories, but also how God showed up, and, that there's still some humor at the end of it. So, man, we're just blessed to be a part of the Ministry League, and we're so thankful for all the things that you do. And, I know Caleb shares all the stuff that we post, and man, I appreciate that. And sometimes it's difficult because you're tooting your own horn all the time. So when somebody else comes along and does it for you, that's pretty nice. But I'm so appreciative of all of you guys and what you're doing.
Yep. I appreciate you. All right. We'll move on here to the next one and keep it moving for time's sake. The next one we've got is my wife's Hopeful Encouragement Reflection, her podcast. She tries to share a lot of things on social media. And if you're one of the ladies tuning in, I hope that you'll check that out and give it a listen. Homemade, I mentioned it just a little bit earlier, is one of the new shows that's coming to Ministry League. That is with Tucker Wallace, who works for GBN and does a lot of filmmaking. We are super excited about what he's going to be doing, which a family style vlog, and they're going to be putting that out every Tuesday. You can tune in on YouTube and other social media platforms and be able to watch each week the latest episode. He and his wife and their son Dirks will be in that, and it's just kind of following their life and documenting their lifestyle. So hope you can check that one out. Then we have the John and Paul Show. Paul, you want to speak to that one?
Yeah, I'll speak to that one. I'll say all the things that John probably wouldn't say, but he should be coming in here pretty soon. Okay. This is the John and Paul Show. We air at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time every Friday that we can. But that is going to be a lot more often once we'll be getting a little bit closer together. So that'll be good. Right now we're talking about it's basically a growth workshop for about an hour. Taking the book of Acts, breaking it down, and giving the church tools and what it takes to grow and in creative ways, and connecting with people in creative ways, just like Jesus and his apostles and disciples did there in the first century. We basically follow the book of Acts and give all the tips and how-tos as we go through. Also, some creative connecting ways of outreach that'll be part of that too. We're really excited about that. And we talk about what's going on in the world. We talk about current events, and Caleb knows as much about that as we do. He's right there, a part of it with us. So don't just think it's the John and Paul Show. Caleb's a part of it with us. But we also talk about what's going on around the brotherhood and the things going on that's beneficial, keeping up with events. So if you host an event that you think is a compliment to the kingdom, then let us know, and we'd love to promote it for you. whether it be a lectureship or a youth rally or a seminar of any kind. We love knowing what's going on in the world so we can share it with the world. And then we do talk about sports. It is no question that we are Braves fans, and that's where we are on that. I know Tyler Brassfield is making noise in the background. It's okay. He's a Mets fan. I think there's room for everybody in heaven. That's all I got to say about that. But we do love sports. We talk about sports. We do the bracketology like Ben and Travis. Enjoy the little competitions we have between each other. It's always fun. Football, basketball, baseball. It is what it is. Love the show. I'll stop because we got more stuff to talk about.
Awesome. Oh, you're doing good. And then we've got let's see. Also, the Media is Ministry, and that is with
Jackson and Hardison.
And they are our tech gurus, and they do a lot for Exposure Youth Camp and various things. And we appreciate all the stuff that they do in that. Then Ministry Bits that Chad Landman puts out, where he highlights and does reviews on different things. And then we've got the Ministry Therapy podcast that Jeff and Dale, and we're going to bring Jeff in here for a second.
Notice Jeff's name is on there first.
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Good to be with you guys today.
It's good to be with you. You've had a lot of things going on. You guys are busy in all sorts of things, aren't you?
Well, we are. Dale keeps us going. He always keeps us, on the cutting edge.
Yes, sir.
That's why we like being a part of Ministry League, cutting edge.
Jeff, a lot of things have led to this podcast, and I know it's going to start here in May, and we appreciate y'all for doing that. There are things you do at Freed Hardeman and things that y'all do with Better, and can you go into that briefly and just give them an idea of what this is about and what to look forward to with this show?
Sure. Several years ago at Freed Hardeman, we were asked to do a segment called Preacher Therapy, I think it was called originally, and we kind of sat up on stage. Dale laid out on a couch, and I kind of gave him therapy. Actually, we sat on chairs and we answered questions that preachers had. We talked about ministry. We talked about the life of preachers. And so we've done that every year and just kind of grown and gotten bigger every year. And so we thought, along with your encouragement, Paul, that we would bring this into a podcast. So we'll be answering questions that preachers have, talk about ministry, everyday life. And we look forward, we'll have some guests with us from time to time. So we look forward to that.
Very good. Awesome. We appreciate
great to be with you, Caleb, and good to be with my friend Paul. Paul who?
I deserve that. Most of the time it's Sperlin, but it depends on what you're asking for. It may change.
Well, thanks for all you guys do. Y'all do a great job for the Lord, and just a great blessing to the kingdom. We appreciate you all very much.
Well, y'all too. We're glad to be in this together for sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jeff. All right. Then we have also on the podcasts, we've got the Roundtable Devotional Podcast, which we produce here at Ellijay, and we host various preachers and members, asking them about their favorite verses in Scripture and why, and discussing various biblical topics. Then we have the Groove Podcast, and we'll bring
him in.
Bring Tyler into our stream here. Tyler, why don't you tell us what the Groove Podcast is?
The Groove is a kind of a seasonal podcast. We'll be getting back into it as we move into the summer months, and we usually talk a lot about youth events. Specifically, we've been dealing with VBS, so we've got a few episodes on there from last year talking about organizing VBSs, some of the pitfalls you have, some different suggestions that can be done for that. And so we'll be picking that up real soon as we are starting to plan our VBS for this summer, and just hopefully provide a lot of insight and get some good conversations. I got someone different each week on there that I do that. So we're looking forward to getting that going again.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something that I don't think there's anybody else out there that's talking about that side of it. And sometimes ministers get into certain situations where they're new into ministry and they have no idea how to do some of the things like Vacation Bible School or what all goes into it. And there's a lot of planning and things that can help make a VBS successful or make it not so much. So we appreciate you guys working on that. All right. And then we'll go back here to our podcasts. We've got also the Season and Shine podcast that Lori Boyd does. Lori is in Middle Tennessee and travels all over the country, writes a lot of books, and really has some inspirational lessons for ladies. And if you have an opportunity, check that out. And she's always in demand for Ladies' Days and things of that nature. She's got some really good videos on YouTube as well. And again, that's the Season and Shine podcast with Lori Boyd. And then another one that we have that is new to Ministry League that we're really excited about is a short stop with a short stop. This is Johnny Lemaster at the Paintsville Church of Christ in Paintsville, Kentucky. And they are producing a series of podcasts around the fact that Johnny was a professional baseball player for a number of years and some lessons that he's learned. They're beginning to bring in some new guests that come from sports backgrounds or from eldering backgrounds. And Johnny is one of the elders there at Paintsville. And he has some pretty unique stories and a unique perspective on life. And he's got some great connections that we're looking forward to hearing from that he plans on bringing onto his show. They're actually working on a dugout that he's going to be producing the podcast from and doing some more live stuff. So far, it's been mostly recorded and shared. But we're really excited about the stuff that Johnny's doing. And we've been trying to get him to do it for a while, and he's finally doing it and doing a great job. So it's really
top quality. That. It's top
it really
quality.
Is.
They know what they're doing. What I like, Caleb, you don't mind jumping in here. I like the fact that he brings in former professional baseball players that actually, as you alluded to, it didn't quite say. I don't know if you're just giving them the little bait there, but guys that actually are working as shepherds in the Lord's church that pitched for the Braves or pitched for the Pirates or played in the Major League Baseball. It's kind of neat to see folks that are in the church that live that life too and came out the other side of it in a positive way. I think that's really cool.
Yes, sir. It's really good to see, especially for our young people, that you can make it through a professional career in that type of environment and continue to be faithful to the Lord and go on to live a productive life in the church. Right. That it's not doom and gloom if you want to seek after using your physical talents in sports and things like that. So we really appreciate him putting that together. And Zach Collins helps to produce that content for him and several others that are there at the church and are just doing a great job with that as well. Then on the podcasts, we have the Stronger Marriage podcast, Trey and Lee Morgan. They couldn't be with us today, but they have a huge podcast. It is blown up. They're all over the place. They've written 2 really well-selling books that are doing really well on Amazon, The Stronger Marriages, and then Psalms 31-Day Devotional Guide for Couples. And they just have really good, insightful discussions about marriage between the 2 of them. And we get to listen in on that. And a lot of our members here have been tuning in. We're going to have them here on May 21st and 22nd in Ellijay, Georgia for a Stronger Marriage workshop. And I know they're booked out for quite a ways, but if you're thinking about having a marriage workshop, they do a phenomenal job with it. And I've had them at several places and just really appreciate them focusing on marriage because the world around us thinks it's not worth fighting for. And it's a wonderful thing that God has ordained from the very beginning of the world. So appreciate all the work that they do with that. Then we've got the Thrive podcast. That is from the Thrive Conference. We've got a number of speakers that have been a part of that and some really motivational things for elders, deacons, ministers. And another one that is a really good podcast we've got going is the Unscripted podcast with Bob and Chris. And They are two crazy guys down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. That here lately they've been coming to the podcast without one of them knowing what the topic is, and then they just kind of hit the other one with what the topic is and try to run with it from there. And it's actually, man, they've got a wealth of Bible knowledge and just do such a good job with it. So we appreciate that. And then another new podcast that we have on the platform is the Project Unify. That is disaster relief that Cody Michael is working with, and how to turn disaster relief into evangelism and being able to help folks with that. So those are the various podcasts that we have on the platform currently, and hopefully we didn't leave anybody out. We also have the Ministry Cafe that we would love for you to check out as well. They're short little devotional thoughts that are designed to encourage you through the middle of the week, and we drop those from time to time. Paul, anything you want to say about that one?
We want to encourage people in the league to record 2-minute videos, or anyone 2-minute videos about from the Bible that will encourage people, and just send them to Caleb, and he'll frame them out and load them up, and we just make them available through social media as an encouraging note. That being said, we also want to talk about the Navigate. I hate to call it a podcast because it's kind of the same thing as the Ministry Cafe. It's just an opportunity, kind of like TED Talks. And we'll get more into that as we talk about another event we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. But that's where we are on that. But is that it for podcasts there, Caleb?
I believe so.
Man, action-packed. Well, great job. Great work on that as it continues.
There's something for everybody.
There really is.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the fact you said it perfectly. There is something there for everybody, and we're going to be able to reach everybody because it goes in different directions like that. I love it. I think it's great. Any final thoughts on that?
Nope.
Well, again, great work. I texted him during this. I don't know if he saw it, but man, I said, man, this is great. You really put this together well. Just on point. For real, a good product we're able to give them through the podcasting. Another part that's on point is something that you kind of need, especially, and we first thought about this, I don't know, he could tell you better than I could. It's been years ago, I guess 7 or 8 years ago, when we're at like camp, Mayway Christian Camp, or we're at some Christian camp somewhere, and you need to pull up a song, or you need to pull up, especially the songs, but a devotional or something without internet, and have something downloaded to your phone. I need. Everybody needs an app. You need an app. And so we started this whole thing with a website, and we thought, will people go to the website and get the stuff? Maybe. But with the app, you're on the road, you're on the go, and it's like, yes, it's right there. And the guy that puts this together for us and keeps this maintained, I mean, every day it's a job, is Tyler Brassfield. And we're going to bring him in and let him talk to you about the changes we've made, but maybe this is the first time you've seen it. So Tyler, show them or tell them about what they can expect by using the app for the ministry.
All right. Yeah, it's been 9 years, 2012. So next year, if we do this show, we can say it's been a decade.
Cool.
But so what we did was we wanted to each year kind of provide something different as we go through with it, not just leave it constantly the same. And it's ever evolving. I mean, I think we've added a lot of podcasts, even from last year. And we have 20 in there now, I think was the count. So, I mean, just more coming all the time. And with the app, what we wanted to do was, like I said, give you that little redesign. Everything Android and iOS, their platforms always get redesigned. So we wanted to be able to do the same. And so what we did with this, so we went ahead and got rid of all those grays that were in there. And so we've given it this nice little, just really crisp black background that looks great. If you're outside, like at night at camp or at a Devo or a retreat, you're not going to have it blinding everyone with that. And so we went ahead and did that. And you can see that there, added a little Ministry League logo to the top bar just to give it some personality. And then we added in a settings icon there at the top right. Whenever you click that settings button, you're going to have two options. And I think over time, we're going to be adding more to it. But one of them is you can change the icon with this. And so we have 10 different choices for the icon that you can use on there. And each of them are different colors. And so if you got a preference, if you've got a team that you really like the colors of, or a school, or just your favorite color, you can tap that. And then whenever you go to your home screen, you'll see this nice different icon to give you just a little bit of change for it, make it a little bit more personal on there. And so I think the next image there has what that'll look like on your screen. We went ahead and did I really like the red and the black one. It really pops.
Can we keep it that way? I love that. Let's go. The only difference is the icon needs to be like a crimson and a white. I don't see that anywhere. I think crimson's good. But anyway.
Yeah, I didn't want to be accused of anything if I did crimson and cream, though.
Well, we don't want that. I just see crimson and white. I lost a few pounds, a little chiseled chin there, got the little beard going. So yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Just need a little final curl right here.
Next year.
Next year.
But one of the things we had added about a month ago was the daily devotional from Dale and Jeff Jenkins with the His Word. And so that's the one that changes every day, Monday through Friday. And it kind of got brought up that how do you remember this? And so we added in the ability to schedule a reminder. And so if you set this, you can pick whatever time you want, and you will get a little pop-up on your screen that says it's time to study your Bible. It's time to read the His Word devotional at that time. And you'll get that every day, Monday through Friday. So hopefully remind you to keep on schedule and on track with that. And then another thing we went ahead and added was, I know a lot of different churches at least used to do certificates for stuff, actual paper certificates. And you don't always see those anymore. They're hard to find. So we added in with this the ability to create two different kinds of certificates, a baptism and a daily Bible reading certificate. And so you can go in there, choose whichever one you want. And whenever you pull it up, you're going to kind of get a little preview of what that looks like, with a text box on there where you can type in who it is that's being baptized, who baptized them, when it was. If it's not that day that you're doing it and you want to backdate one, you can go ahead and do that. And you can even add a picture on there. And so we have all that, and it keeps an archive of it so that you can go back in and view those later on. It creates a little PDF that you can message to someone, print it out from your phone, or send it over email. And so we really hope and think that that'll be something that comes in pretty handy with that. Just it's nice, quick, and easy to use. And my daughter got baptized back in February, I think right about the time we were working on this version of it. And so we were able to use that to create a little certificate for her baptism there. And we also have the PD and Pals. I think, Caleb, you were already talking about that, you and Paul. But we have this on the app as well, so that you can watch all of them straight from the Ministry League instead of having to jump over to a different app or to YouTube and be able to see all those. The newest ones will always be on the top screen there. And throughout the month of May, that very first image of the home screen, it's going to remind you up there on that top image that this is now available within resources. And so just really excited to have that. More video content always is the better way to go. And I don't remember what we have next on the pictures here. Okay. This one, Paul, do you want to talk about this now, or we'll just save it for a little bit?
Yeah, we're going to make that the last thing we talk about, but we do want to ask people to save the date for an event that will be happening those dates, May 27 through 29, starting in 2022, Memorial Day every weekend, Memorial Day every year. Looking forward to that.
One thing I didn't have any pictures for some reason, but we did add under resources a new section for VBS. We talked about that with the Groove podcast earlier. And so we're now going to start uploading some PDFs for that. The one on there now is one that we did here a few years back. And so it's got all the lessons, all the skits that we had done. It has the links to where we got the materials for, because all this was just stuff created here. It was purchased from Amazon or different places, and then did that for the decorations. And so VBS resources, and again, if you have something that you would like to share, you can go ahead and send those in as well with all the other resources. And what's really exciting, Paul, is I think last year we sat down and we said Ministry League is launching soon, because we were still waiting for review. Android was like a couple weeks out. Less than an hour ago, it went live on iPhone and iPad. And I was also told about 20 minutes ago, it is currently available on Android as well. So both platforms are ready to go, and they all have access to this with a couple changes. Android doesn't have the ability to add picture to the certificate just yet, or the ability to change the icon. But other than that, they are the same. They work as expected. And I see Travis there talking about using the songs from the app before. And that's the thing we hear about the most, is people using that. And I know last year I saw when people were meeting in parking lots because they couldn't meet inside, using that instead of bringing out all the songbooks from inside the building. And so it's just great being able to see people use the app and find so many different reasons for it that, it may have started out as, the songs, but seeing that grow with all the great resources that have been sent in now to hit over 50,000 downloads on iPhone and nearly 20,000 on Android is just amazing.
That's pretty cool. The funny thing is, this whole thing started with, I think it was 100 devotional songs, and obviously we've increased it since then. But that was the thing we had to kind of draw folks in. But now there's so many other things. It's like, oh, wait, yeah, there is a songbook there too. And that's what I like. I like people taking advantage of all the areas of resources of ministry all at one place and in your hand. I mean, it's so convenient. And so we can't thank you enough for the work you've done on this over the years. 9 years, it's pretty strong.
I'm just glad to be a part of it.
It is pretty awesome. I was talking to somebody the other day about apps, and they were using a specific like Subsplash or something, and I was like, "Well, we've got our own app designer," and they were like, "Wow, you do an excellent job." It is something that is a labor of love, and we appreciate, tons of. How many hours would you suppose you've put into the Ministry League app over the years?
I lost count after one.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you being on here today.
Appreciate it.
Paul, we've got one person who just joined us that we're going to bring in for a second. Matt Wallen is here.
Yes.
And Matt, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, guys. Good. I'm a little frazzled from running around, but I'm good. How are you?
Hey, Matt.
We're doing good. So Matt, tell everybody what you do.
So I've worked for House to House, Heart to Heart, and I've worked with that ministry for 16 years. And my wife and I flip houses and raise 3 little girls.
All at the same time.
Yes.
And one of the things that you're doing for Ministry League is you have been involved in the Men of Valor podcast. It's one of the ones that I didn't mention earlier because I was hoping you would be with us to talk about it for a few minutes. Tell everybody what Men of Valor is.
So Men of Valor is designed to meet some very specific needs that men, especially Christian men, have. And so locally, I kind of stumbled into this idea. We had a new convert, and we wanted to have a men's study that he could be a part of, to challenge him, to plug him into the church. He didn't have the history and the background that we did. And so we started this for him. And what we learned when we did that is we all grew just exponentially from this. And so we want to try to share some of those principles with other people so that they can use them as well. So, like, for example, most men don't have close male friendships in our society. A lot of men are confused about what it means to be a man. They see society's definition, and the Bible's definition is much different. And so this Men of Valor idea is a discussion of how to be God's man. We're created in the image of God. Well, what does that mean in our everyday lives? We see men in the Bible like Nehemiah who had accountability. James tells us to confess our faults to one another, but most people don't obey those commands and those principles. And so Men of Valor is all about giving men close male friendships. It's about discipleship and mentorship. It's about a group that you can hold accountable and can hold you accountable, someone you can confess your sins to. And so it's something we've seen locally. That's the reason we haven't started the podcast yet, is we wanted to put it into practice in our area and, really practice what we preach before we teach it, make sure it works, and then have some real life principles we've seen work that we can share. And so most of us are getting to the point where we feel like we can do that. So we should be able to start recording soon.
Sorry about that. So we had a conference back in December, what, 4th and 5th now? And there was like 50 to 60 guys that came, and that was in Marietta, Ackworth, right?
Ackworth, Georgia, yep.
And that was a really great weekend that I didn't get to come to because I was in quarantine from teenagers that had COVID. But
One of the many times.
one of several. When you have 5 kids, somebody is always bringing home cooties from school. So, but yeah, that was an awesome event. We had some great videos that came out of that, and that are in that private group for Men of Valor, and we would love for folks to check that out. We're actually still in the works on dropping the podcast, but it's going to be a really neat podcast with Jake Sutton, Matt, and then Colt Mahana from over in Dahlonega, Georgia. He's the campus and outreach and kind of the one who spent the most time working with this Men of Valor group, and he's had great success converting folks through it. So we're really glad to be a part of that.
Yeah,
Matt,
and I'll mention this too. Our men that have been a part of it have gone from some of them even being kind of lukewarm to now they're leading the Lord's Supper thoughts, leading public prayer, inviting others to church,
Cool.
Coming to Bible class, bringing their families to Bible class. And you couldn't really see that in any of their lives before. And so for us, it hasn't been evangelistic, but it has been a great discipleship thing, because you take men that were saved, yeah, but we're on the sidelines by and large, and now they're involved. They're talking about scripture. They're leading discussions. And so it's literally changed the spiritual lives of the men in the group.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's great.
Very good. Well, I appreciate you being with us here today, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Love you guys. Appreciate the chance.
While you're here, give a plug for what's
Maybe
coming up.
you're going to say it. What? Go ahead, Caleb. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Matt.
2 things. Number one, somebody is typing like crazy. If you can mute yourself and we can hear ourselves, that'd be awesome. I mean, it's really loud. Number 2, Matt, do you mind plugging the door knocking thing in October?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. So in 2019, we were thinking, what's something that we could do that could unify everybody? There are about 10,000 churches of Christ in this country alone, and it would be just great if we could do something, anything together. And so what's something we could all agree with and won't splinter us or put us into these different factions or divisions? And so we thought of door knocking. Door knocking is admittedly generic enough that hopefully not too many people are going to be strongly opinionated against it, but it is something that still works as well. As an example, in 2019, the first time we did this, we had 600 churches door knock, and we had 7 conversions. And I've been saying 6, but I found out about another one 2 days ago that came from door knocking day. Awesome. And so that's just what we know about. So this year, our goal is to get 1,000 churches out in their communities door knocking. And it's going to be amazing, because even if you take a small group or you're part of a large group, you can think, well, hey, I'm door knocking here and I'm scared to go to the door. But Paul is in Marietta door knocking, and Caleb's in LJ door knocking, and so on and so on and so on 1,000 times. If they can do it, I can do it. And it just gets us out into the community. And so this year, October 2nd will be the day. You can go to nextdoor.housetohouse.com to sign up. You don't need our permission to door knock. You don't have to wait until then. But if you sign up there, we can keep track of everybody. We can report the conversions. We're going to give you some free resources that you can print and hand out to people. So it doesn't even have to cost you anything. But October 2nd, let's get out. Let's meet the people in our community. And if we'll put the gospel before them, the gospel will do what it always does, and we'll have some new conversions. And think about this. Those 7 people that were converted in 2019 from door knocking day now get to go out in their community door knocking with their churches for the first time.
That's awesome. That's great. And I appreciate you having the vision to put all this together, and everything that you do and everyone does with House to House, Heart to Heart. What a blessing to the kingdom. And I'm just excited we all get to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Yep, it's fun working together. Appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Can't wait.
All right.
Well, Caleb, that's
Yes, sir.
paper. They got that paper done. Kidding. Man, did I interrupt you or were you going to ask the same thing I asked about?
No, I was going to ask the same thing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're on the same wavelength.
That's scary and good all at the same time. It works really well. Before we get to the last little bit, because we're almost done here, was there anything else we need to mention so I don't forget it? You know what the last thing is?
Yes, I know what the last. Yes, I did neglect to mention, which I can't believe because apparently the slide disappeared. But one of the guys, or two guys that do a fantastic job plugging Ministry League is the Not Just Sundays podcast. And Jeremy Weekly and Billy Bearden, I had a slide for them, and I don't know what happened to it, but it is legit, and they spend a lot of time editing their stuff, and they bring in some great guests. And they're at the West End congregation in Knoxville, and man, they really do a excellent job with their thought process and how they interact with each other, and just really good guys. And they do, if you ever get a chance, if you've not heard their podcast, tune into it. They begin by really plugging Ministry League and all the different things that are on the app and the various things. And we really appreciate them doing that. So kudos to those guys, and keep up the great work. And I think I haven't left anybody out. If I did leave out a podcast, I am truly sorry. It's hard to think on your feet while you're trying to push buttons and do all this all at the same time. So if it disappeared from my slideshow, then I probably didn't mention it. So
it's Caleb. I mean, don't be hard on yourself, buddy. I mean, you got a lot going on. You got, let's see, numbers are a big part of your life. So you got 20 podcasts, and I think there's 20 on deck. I mean, I think there's more coming. You got 5 kids. I'll put a period on that. It's up to you what happens next.
No.
But I mean, 1 wife, a good sized youth group, great church. You got a lot going on, man. You really do.
A couple things. Yeah.
You need to sit down, take a break. You know what? When we finish this show, take the rest of the day off. Okay.
Thanks.
We'll come back tomorrow. All right.
I got a yard to mow, I think.
You got
7 acres. 7 acres of a yard. Yeah, they should be. They're at
oh my goodness.
Football physicals, and my wife's running them all around.
That's funny. Seriously though, to everybody watching, if for some reason we didn't hit an area you wanted us to, just know there's a lot going on, and we have plenty of time to talk about it. We're going to, and we appreciate you for being here for this opportunity here. We were waiting on Professor Podine to get in here, who is working on his PhD. I cannot wait to call him that all the time. I do it anyway. He's very studious. He's very brilliant, and he's a great speaker and one of the best song leaders I've ever met, my best friend in the world. And he is my cohort, one of our cohorts on our show, the John and Paul show with he and Caleb. Not available because he is working at Lazarus Convention right now, doing his job, part of his job, before he makes the move to Calhoun, which we're excited about all that. But he was going to come in and talk about some of the events we do and end everything with events. I alluded to one of them earlier. Miss Gail mentioned go to Into Global Ministry as well. And so I want to say a few of the, just real briefly on this, Caleb, and then if you will run that video for us, and then at the end we'll break it down and tell you exactly what you can get from that after he puts back together whatever it is he just destroyed there in the video there. So Exposure Youth Camp is about 23 years old. John and I have been working on that together. He's been there from the beginning. I've been there for about 20 years. And so we, in our heart, it's about getting together people, the fellowship, the events, the opportunities to have the camaraderie and the fellowship and the connectivity with people. And so that's a big deal. And so we thought a few years ago, Exposure Youth Camp decided, well, let's start doing this and take exposure across the world. And so we went to London in 2019, as Ms. Gail mentioned as well earlier. And the thing is, teenagers in Europe, they don't have the events like we have here. They don't have they have the camp, but they don't have the retreats, and they don't have the special days, and they don't have the fifth quarters, and they don't have the Exposure Youth Camp, or at least they didn't. They do now. And that's what we did. We established team time, and we established a Bible study time and being with your congregation time. And there's about 15 different nationalities that came together for that one weekend. It was incredible. And there are pictures of this and information on this at our website at ministryleague.com. Go to Into Global Ministries, it's there. But we thought we need an event that will bring together and bring the culmination of learning how to prepare to go on trips, not just for an adult, but for a teenager as well. And so we thought the Ministry League is an app, it's a website, but what can we do to make it personal? Let's get together and connect with people and prepare people and train people to be able to go in your community, to not just go afar, but also go in your own community and have a plan of bringing people to Christ. So we want to equip people to be able to help your own community, but also everybody else's. If you will go to ministryleague.com, you'll see now that you can refresh the page. There's a link for Ministry League Experience. We'll start Memorial Day of 2022, and there'll be Memorial Day every year. Registration information will be there in about, 5 to 6 months to come to Atlanta, Georgia. We're calling it Atlanta, Georgia. It's at Piedmont Road Church. There's a high school that shares a parking lot with us, and the Piedmont Road Eldership have gladly oversee and help us in making sure this happens. The Piedmont Road Church is a working congregation, and they're ready to have that. And there's also, and obviously Caleb can attest to this, and Matt, there's a lot of area congregations in that area that love and can't wait to have something right there to host and bring people in and talk about some stuff. So we're excited. There's about 3 tiers to what's happening with this event, 3 things that are important. The first of which I'll mention is called the Ministry League Navigate Conference. Navigate Conference is a group of TED Talks. It's a small, short discussions that talk about and showcase podcasts, but also showcase how to do ministry. And that's a piece of what we're going to be doing for that. And we're looking forward to that. The next part I'd like for Caleb to kind of speak to about the Creators Conference.
One of the things, as we've been highlighting all the different folks that make Ministry League a league together, that we have people with all sorts of talents and abilities, and some of them we kind of had to learn really fast, and some we do better at. But it's always awesome to bring people together who have creative minds and kind of bounce ideas off each other and encourage each other to try new things, try to reach more people and be more effective. And so we're going to be doing a creators conference, helping people to navigate through some of these challenges, and taking some of our folks who've had great successes and bouncing ideas back and forth between them. And it's really going to be an exciting thing. If you're thinking about doing some creative stuff, we encourage you to come and be a part of that. And man, we've got such talented folks that we're blessed to be a part of with this, I'm excited to learn from others as well.
So that will be Thursday of the weekend, the Creators Conference. And then Friday night we'll start the event. And then Saturday all day long will be the Discipleship Conference. We'll try to find a cooler name for it, but it is the Discipleship Conference. It's offering classes for teens and adults, the chance to minister to people and get prepared to teach people in their community, have a plan for your congregation and your community, but also for communities across the world. We have contacts with people and been talking with people that kind of go with our Into Global Ministries program that will allow us to not just go to an event, but go to an event to prepare to go and spread God's word. And that is the essence of what we're talking about here. So I would like to ask you if you're watching this, to take this logo. We're gonna post one as soon as this show is over, or if somebody has one and they can post it now, go ahead and tell the world about the Ministry League experience. We're looking forward to this. It's going to be great. There's a lot of things and a lot of events that we've started over the years that we're really proud of. There's not much that's going to be as far-reaching and as beneficial and as kingdom growing, thanks to what God does for us and blesses us, than this event and the opportunity we can do through it. And
Yes, sir.
honestly, Caleb, this is it. I mean, this is it. This is the show. So many good things. I'm so excited. I just want to get out and just go do something. I cannot thank everybody enough for coming in, being a part of this, for watching this, and for sharing this. That little arrow that turns to the right, if you'll click that and share this in every group you possibly can. We need the world to know what's going on with Ministry League. We want them to know who we are. And honestly, the only thing you really have to pay for is maybe registration to go to an event. That's it. Everything else is free. We do have a merch shop that'll be coming out very soon. Excited about the 3 shirts. You got an indigo, you got blue and black, and that mug that Miss Gail mentioned. So many other opportunities. And just go and visit us at ministryleague.com, and don't forget the app. What else, Kevin?
I was listening to the music when you were talking earlier on the experience. Did you mention Hardison putting together that video for us?
I did not, but please give him props. Go ahead.
Hardison did such a good job with that, and really just almost no time he put that out for us. And man, what a talented guy. We appreciate all the work he's doing. He works with the 109 Church, that is a church plant from the Mount Juliet Church of Christ, and great job on that video. We're excited about.
He's big about Navigate as well, so he's going to be a big integral part of what we're going to be doing. So very thankful for him. Good plug for him.
Yep. But we're really excited about the Ministry League experience. We hope that any youth ministers and various individuals that are watching, that you're planning on bringing your youth group, and if you're an adult that just wants to do more for the Lord, it's going to be an encouraging and awesome experience. So make plans for next year. I know it's crazy to be thinking about 2022 already, but the summer fills up fast. What better way to start your summer than doing something like this to really get things kicked off? Absolutely.
Well, as John would say, well, Caleb.
Well, Paul. Well, Paul.
I want to hear. Well, Paul. Again, thank you everyone in the league for being a part of this and helping us and promoting everything that we do. Love you dearly. Can't wait to be with you in heaven, but so excited to work with you side by side right here till we get there. We just appreciate you so much. For all of our sponsors, and there's more than what I mentioned. Every show has their own sponsor. We do want to thank Alliance Leaders. We want to thank the LJ Church, the Piedmont Road Church of Christ, and the Palisades Church. Everyone else, thank you so much. Continue to remember that we are on Instagram, Facebook, and also on Twitter and a YouTube channel. Go there. There's stuff all the time. And we really appreciate you for being a part of this. For Caleb Sampson, John Podine, everybody else, I can't list everybody's name, but thank you so much for being with us. This has been the Ministry League live event. We hope you have a great day, a great weekend, and God bless. Show the video again. Oh, that's cool.